Hello and welcome to Ham Nation, episode 6. To Ham Nation, episode 605 for August 27th, 2025. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Ham Nation. Appreciate you coming on out. We got a packed show. Literally, we're challenging ourselves to add even more people to our growing show. But first, we got to say hi to our host. So let's go ahead and say that. Hello now. Oh, no. We're down one. Dawn is having a bit of technical problems that we'll work out for the next show. But starting at the top here, Gordo, how are you doing tonight?
All is well, and I'm just delighted that the American Radio Relay League continues to be number one in testing, and we'll find out about that shortly.
All right. And Amanda, how are you on this fine evening?
I'm ready for the long weekend. So ready. We're packing the camper. We're getting ready to head out. We're going to be doing the Colorado QSO party, and I'm totally excited about that. It's one of my favorite contests of the year. And I have a great interview coming up with a new to Colorado, but not new to ham radio young lady, Violetta. And I'm looking forward to that. What about you, Josh?
Well, boy, howdy. I have a couple of scout trips coming up. I've got a beach camp for scouts in a couple of weeks, so I'm preparing for that. I'm thinking of doing something radio related on the water. So Stay tuned for that, everybody.
Maritime mobile sounds exciting.
Indeed.
Well, why don't we go aeronautical mobile? Violetta, we have
well done.
joining. No, right? Eased right into that. Woo! We have joining us Kilo November 2 Papa Violetta. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the invitation to join.
Of course. Now, Violetta wears a lot of hats in amateur radio, and we're going to be talking about a couple of them tonight. But I am honored to say that she offered to be our Colorado Section Youth Coordinator. So I'm really, really thankful for that. And anyhow, Violetta, tell us a little bit about yourself. What got you into amateur radio?
I got started in the hobby through my dad, who got it from his grandfather. He kind of introduced it to all of us kids and made it a competition, like see who could get their license first, see who could upgrade first, things like that. So it was really a competition between us siblings. Actually, all 9 people in my family, including my mom, are all licensed. Most of us hold the extra class license. So that's where I really got started with it. Yeah.
Wow. All of you. So who was first to get licensed in the siblings?
Out of us kids, it kind of started at the oldest, and some of us, got upgraded before others, but yeah.
Very cool. And so obviously your career in amateur radio didn't just end there. You got involved with a lot of the youth activities, Yoda, things like that, right?
Yeah, it started out with a Dave Coulter Memorial Youth DX Adventure back in 2018. We went down to the PJ2T station with 4 youth. That was kind of my first time at a station of that size and like complexity, and also working with other people. And that was really great. I kind of went home and was like, hey, I want to kind of like replicate this like youth operating, but also in a contest situation, because I think like most kids, was very competitive. And so went to kind of Tim Duffy with my ideas, and it was like, hey, like I kind of want to get a contest of all youth. And he was very excited, pretty much immediately agreed to host us and talk to some of my friends. They talked to some of their friends. We got a team together and operated at his station in 2019, called ourselves Team Exuberance. And then I've done other things like another contest down at PJ2T, down in St. Lucia, lots of traveling for contesting.
Fantastic. So you were part of the inaugural gang, like with Marty and I can't remember some of the other, Bryant maybe?
Bryant, Levi, all of them.
Wow, that's amazing. That was a good group of youth. So you continued on doing that. I think you were at Yoda Camp just this last summer as well in Denver, right?
Yeah, up near Thornton. Yeah, that was a great experience. Really awesome. We got to meet a lot of really great people, great operators, had a lot of fun doing radio things and just making friendships.
So not only are you into amateur radio, you're also into flying and you're pilots. That's amazing. Tell everyone what you're doing right now.
Yeah, so I got my flight instructor certificate a couple months ago, so pretty new to instructing. I actually like it a lot more than I thought I would. Most of my students are, around my age. Some of them are older, but the majority of them are kind of in my age group, just kind of teaching them how to fly. Seeing that light in their eyes for the first time is just a really awesome experience. Getting to work with young people every day while also doing something that I love, which is flying, is super cool.
It is kind of cool. So, and that's an amazing picture that Josh is showing right now. That's Crater Lake, I believe. And so what do you like flying? Like, what's your favorite? Like, if you had a choice every day, what would you be flying?
I mean, my end goal is obviously to fly like private jets. I want to stay more on the corporate side versus airlines. I haven't flown a whole lot of like cool airplanes yet, mostly just lawnmowers with wings, like we like to call them. I'm in the middle of doing my multi-training. I've been doing it in a DA-42, a Diamond, which is actually an Austrian, I think they're made in Austria, an Austrian aircraft. It's really cool. It's probably my favorite that I've flown so far. Also, in that photo there, I'm flying a little light sport aircraft, which is also one of my top favorites. Got to go out and land on some soft fields. That was really cool.
Wow, that's it. And okay. So if you don't mind telling us, how old are you?
I'll be 21 here soon.
Oh my God, everybody. She's not even
Wow.
of legal age to drink, and look at what she's doing in this world. That's very cool. Thank you. So do you get to do any ham radio stuff while you're up in the air?
I have not yet. The goal is to go aeronautical mobile. That's something that I want to kind of set up and have, have available for me to do on flights. That's kind of cool. I've talked to like some of my flight students about ham radio, and also kind of like trying to integrate that. But as far as like the day-to-day lives, they're still kind of separate.
Awesome. Well, so in your feats that you're trying to accomplish this summer, you are trying to do 2 DXpeditions. And I'm going to let you tell us about it because I can't even pronounce the island. So why don't you tell us where you're going this October?
Yeah, so the first one of the 2 is down to the North Cook Islands, Manahiki Atoll. Back in April, I was invited to join a group of operators. They've done several DXpeditions before by themselves as a team. This is kind of the first time that they've invited someone outside of their Western Washington DX group to go on a DXpedition with them. There's going to be another YL in the team as well. We're going to be paired up together on the operating schedule, which will be really neat. We will be down there October 9th through the 20th. We'll be doing CW, SSB, FT8. Yeah, super cool. I think there's like 200 total people that live on this island, so it's like pretty remote. It was a little difficult to kind of, get all the equipment packed and shipped there. We just got confirmation that the equipment arrived on the island in one piece, so that's good.
That is very good news.
So yeah, we're kind of finalizing everything for that. We'll be leaving here in about a month for that, and then directly from North Cook, I will be flying to Curacao. I leave Tuesday morning and I get to Curacao Friday morning. So it's like, 2 or 3 days straight of traveling.
And that is for the youth one that you will be doing like what during the DX contest?
Yeah, absolutely. We'll be doing the CQ Worldwide sideband down there in at PJ2T. The average age of that contest team is 22. So mostly young people. It'll be great. We have people from, there's going to be a lot of different countries represented there. So it'll be great.
Oh, that sounds like a really fun time. Now back to the North Cook Islands. You had mentioned another YL was going on. If our audience members don't know this, it is really, really, really rare for women to go on any of these DXpeditions. So tell me how you got invited to go.
Yeah, it's kind of unique. A good friend of mine was actually at the Visalia convention this year. I believe it was in April. He was kind of going up to talk to an old friend of his who was on the phone at the time. And he got off the phone call. He was talking to my friend. He was like, "Hey, we're doing this DXpedition. I just got a phone call that one of our teammates dropped out." And my friend was like, "Hey, I think I know someone." And so that's kind of how I got the spot. It's kind of unique.
It is very unique. I'm really proud of you. Super excited. So with Violetta going there, guess what? She's only 20 and she doesn't have a lot of money, everybody. So We're trying to help get this girl funded to be able to take this trip. So, Violetta, you can tell us kind of what the cost expenses are. Obviously, your flight, room and board, things like that. So, just explain what the money is needed for.
Yeah, I need kind of help with getting my tickets to get down to the island, getting from the island to the next stop at PJ2T. This covers like lodging costs, food, my kind of share of all the overall operator expenses, things like that. So the total for everything is right around $7,000. I've gotten some donations from a DX club in my area, some local clubs, and just trying to raise as much as I can.
Well, I'm here to help you try to raise more. So, everybody, go to your GoFundMe's and please send Violetta a little bit of cash if you can. Even $5 would make a difference. And this is that's part of the problem with DXpeditions is people have to fund themselves going to them, and that's why what we would consider a higher end opportunity most of the time. So I would really, really like to see this happen for you, and I'm super excited. So everyone, go help out, and we appreciate that. So, you can tell us how many people are on your team that are going.
So there's 6 of us total,
Okay.
and like I mentioned, they're all from the Western Washington DX Association. I'm kind of the only one outside of their club, so very glad for the opportunity.
Now you have a 2 call. How did you end up in Colorado?
It's a vanity call sign. I've kind of moved all over. I don't remember what state I was in when I got the call sign, but yeah, it's a vanity.
Okay. And yet, but your family doesn't live here in Colorado? Is that
No,
correct?
they live in Kentucky. Yeah.
Okay. And I think this is so fun. The first time I met Violetta was during field day. And I happened to be making a stop at that or where she was operating from. And she had just worked her dad in Kentucky from Colorado. That was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was awesome.
Okay, well, so everyone go fund Violetta to get her to the North Cook Islands. And then let's talk a little bit about youth. My biggest question to everyone that's in your age range is kind of like, how do you see people retaining into the hobby once they get started in their school clubs or what have you, or their parents got them started? Do you have thoughts on how to keep the youth involved after they leave, go to college, things like that? Is this something that even you have to work on?
It is as far as just like schedule wise. I feel like in this kind of phase of our lives, there's a lot going on, especially if you're in school, like you're going to college or something. Um, I found the best way is honestly just to make friendships. Whenever you have other friends who are, have similar interests, doing similar things, it's easier to kind of keep connected and, keep up and, keep that interest level up. Um, I've done this through like things like Yoda. That was great. I made a lot of new friends that I now keep in contact with. Um, just, yeah, the camaraderie is great. Good way to stay involved.
Absolutely. And so I'm going to ask you like this wild opinion. What is something you think youth doesn't like about our hobby?
Ooh.
Put you on the spot.
That's a good one. This is what I brought up to a club I was speaking with the other day is to kind of get more youth involved, we need to like connect with them on their level. As in like young people these days aren't necessarily checking their emails every day. They're going to be on things like Discord, Instagram, YouTube. You need to post like for a club, you need to keep making posts on platforms where young people are active. Um, yeah, I
I
think it's
agree.
just hard to know how to like reach out to young people when kind of different generations have different, just different circles, different, yeah.
Well said.
I agree fully. Don't you, Josh?
Oh, totally. Totally agree.
You get kind of a younger crowd following yourself, and I think it has a lot to do with you having up a Discord and alternative ways of everybody chatting with the social circles and
You're
stuff like
100% correct. Nailed it. Yes, absolutely.
and I find it like even okay, I'm in my 40s and I find it overwhelming too, but it's mostly just because it's so much more to do, but because I still have to do the emails and check the emails and reply to all of those. So anyhow, chat room, you guys shout out any questions we have, Josh?
Let's see. A lot of people said they donated a couple bucks, not to send her away, but to make sure she gets home safely. So that is very
Oh.
nice.
Oh.
Thank you.
Brett
Much
Glass
appreciated.
asks, "How did you like WWV?" And then he wrote Bucky's question mark.
Yeah, that was during the Yoda camp up in Denver, the WWV station. That was really really cool. It's something that's not like open to the public, but our group kind of got a tour of the facility, and that was super neat. We also stopped at Bucky's on the way home. Set up some portable stations there to get on the air. Yeah, fun day. Loved it.
There seem to be a number of pilots as well in the chat, so they wish you the best. They're all talking about their favorite little setups. But speaking of Malahiki, do you have a kind of dream DXpedition location you'd like to activate sometime in the future?
Wow, good question.
Oh, that is a good question.
Maybe one you could fly to, right?
All of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, the ones I can fly to. That's great. I like that.
I am like so much pickier than that because if it has penguins on it, I'm probably out.
Penguins stink.
Well, I'm just thinking because that means it's really freaking cold.
That's a good point.
Other ones would be very spider infested. Would be
Yes.
kind of a hard no for me. But
That's fair.
have you? I don't know much about Papa Juliet 2 Tango, but I know lots of people go down there to do the contesting from there, and you've been there before. What did you love about it?
I think Jeff is an amazing host. He's someone who's very kind of focused on getting the youth more involved. He loves seeing more, not just youth, but also like the young ladies in particular, just having more representation overall. So opening a station, obviously, to hosting a youth contest, things like that. And it's just beautiful down there. The weather's nice. I like that it's not just like he doesn't invite the youth to just show up, sit down, and operate. Like we show up, we're working on the station, like we're going up the ridge line to fix antennas. We're included and we're a part of just the maintenance of everything, and it shows us how everything actually works, and that's great.
Nice. And how is like room and board?
It's great there. They have good connections with like different houses on the same street, so it's always like within walking distance from the station. So very convenient.
Very cool. Well, we wish you the best on that. Josh, anything else?
I think we got most of them, but you should go back and look at the chat. Lots of well wishes and great job. So
Yeah.
best of luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Violetta, for being here tonight. We appreciate it with your very busy schedule. Good luck with your testing tomorrow and furthering your training there. So you can stick around for the rest of the show if you want. It's up to you. I thought maybe you needed to drop off early, so I went with you first because I know you're out on the East Coast now. So thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, now we're going to go to an Icom ad.
Fun, Sun, and QSO. Wherever you go, keep the fun going with one of Icom's go-to rigs. As the days get longer and the bands heat up, make sure you're ready with a radio that works as hard as you do. So kick back and enjoy the breeze and make those QSOs with ease. Remote ready, contest capable, and built for Sirius signal, step into the future of amateur radio with Icom's Powerhouse Trio. The IC7760 HF digital transceiver, the IC-PW2 1 kilowatt HF 50 MHz linear amplifier, and the all-new RC7760 remote controller. Designed to work in perfect harmony, this system offers full remote operation, high output power, and seamless integration across the bands. The RC7760 remote controller serves as an extra control head, and up to 5 can be registered to the RF deck, though only one can be active at a time. For wireless connectivity, simply connect a commercially available Wi-Fi access point via the LAN port. Whether you're working from the shack, the field, or a remote site, you'll experience crystal clear audio, digital precision, and amplifier-grade power, all from a single unified interface. It's the ideal setup for contesters, MCOM operators, and high-demand users who expect more from their gear. The IC7300 combines intuitive touchscreen control, real-time spectrum display, and superior signal purity into one compact rig. Built for satellite, EME, and weak signal enthusiasts, the IC9700 combines all-mode operation on VHF, UHF, and 1.2 GHz. The IC705 go-to rig for outdoor hams who love POTA and SOTA activations. A large color touchscreen with real-time spectrum scope and waterfall display for intuitive function and setting operation. The IC705 provides big radio features and performance in the palm of your hand. Enjoy HF to 50, 144, and 440 MHz with D-Star, SSB, CW, RTTY, AM, and FM modes. For more information about all of ICOM's great amateur radios, visit icomamerica.com/amateur today.
And a huge thank you to Icom. Thank you so much for supporting Ham Nation here on the Ham Radio Crash Course. Every time we go live, we give away 3 swag packs, which, have things like t-shirts, pens, tablets, a bag. All of that is random, though, so what you get may change. But we pick 3 winners, and at the end of the month, we pick a winner for a radio. And we're picking a winner today. So if we scroll down, what are we giving away in August? It is an IC V86. So first, the swag pack winners, we have Eric B, AE7 UF, Jeff C, KB0YDA, and Rick B, KQ4TDD. And the big winner is Kristen D, KO6FZJ. So congratulations, and make sure you go check out the video I shot with Ray Novak introducing the Icom 7300 Mark II. Hope you all saw that. It got some pretty good views of people really interested in that radio, and we're excited to see things like an HDMI port. All right, we're very excited about that. But I'm going to throw it back. Oh, I'm throwing it to Gordo because this is a big one. We've got a lot of people in the room, so everybody hang on. Gordo, how you doing? How you managing all those individuals you got crammed away in the office there?
Actually, they're managing me because we're going to be testing. Well, taking an amateur radio test in the old days was in front of the FCC, and we had headsets that if you moved it just this way or that way, you would drop out of receiving the code. It was an inductive loop around the headquarters. Then they went to the private sector, that's us, the hams, to conduct our own testing. Then up in Alaska, they said, we can't be like testing on glaciers and so on to get there. So the commission said, well, we could look into remote exams. Well, let me tell you, this is the year of remote exams. And tonight we have Stephen, Whiskey Mike 7X, and a lot of his team members that look on as the test is taking place and know those preparing and taking the test are not at an official location. They could be in their living room. They could be in the garage. We've seen them everywhere. So, Stephen, welcome aboard, and most important, your team that backs you up for testing. Here's Stephen, WM7X.
Gordon, thanks for the warm invite, and thank you to Ham Nation as well and the Ham Nation community. Testing is amazing. This hobby is amazing as well. We can't be more privileged to be part of it and to be invited to your show as well to illustrate our joy and excitement and passion for what we do. Obviously on the screen here, we have a very small sampling of our test team, WM7X leadership. We'll be speaking with each one of them here in just a few moments. Several couldn't attend tonight because they're actually testing in a Zoom session right now as we speak. So, because we don't want to disclose any tests going on right now, they're handling testing while we get to demonstrate our passion here. So, Gordon, again, thanks for the invite. We just returned as a team, WM7X, from the Maine State Convention in the state of Maine, Augusta. I think that's how the Mainers say it, Augusta. Anyway, we learned a lot of the Maine accent and ate a lot of the Maine lobster while we were there. We were able to gather nearly 20 of our team's volunteer examiners to the Maine State Convention, several of whom we had never met before, and got to, well, eat more lobster, and test some more people. It was just amazing. We are privileged as well to have been invited to the Big Bear Ham Escape down in Southern California, where it was just amazing. Um, uh, where last Josh and I met there as well, where we were invited to do their testing. We're also approaching, I think, our fourth or fifth year now as the test team down in Quartzsite, Arizona, for the yearly convention down there. And speaking of Quartzsite, Gordo, that's where we get together and shiver when it's cold at night, and we shelter in the day from the dust storms. And every once in a while, we get to break out the tank tops and the flip flops and the Bermuda shorts, because that Arizona weather is something else. But being able to take our team not only on the road locally, but to different states, and very soon to Alaska, where some of the team members will be on the road and performing some testing from up north as well. So briefly, we'd like to introduce you to a guy waving to you on your screen. His name is Chu. Chu is in Singapore. A little bit of background here before we let Chu share his experience with his team, the WM7X team, and his experience with the ARRL, is that Chu is actually one of our volunteer examiners on our team exclusively. He's our boots on the ground in Singapore. He tests many students. He's going to elaborate on that right now. So Chu, if you don't mind sharing some of your experience with testing in Singapore, why we test in Singapore, what the purpose of that is, and how fun using exam tools and WM7X testing coupled together can be.
Okay, thanks for having me. Can you hear me well?
Oh,
Absolutely, Chu.
yes,
Thank
we
you.
hear you fine.
Okay, so what's happened is the local authorities have problems with our own version of the radio amateur examination, and WM7X offering FCC exam is like having a Stargate, I mean, it's a ham gate for locals to pass their exam. It's recognized, and the best thing is we can do it over the internet. I think over the last 2 years, we have 20 plus 10, maybe 30 plus hams exam administered by WM7X. That's a lot because in Singapore, we have maybe 200-ish hams. So that's 10%. And if this keeps going in 10 years' time, we would have totally refreshed the number of hams that we had. Yeah.
Excellent,
Oh,
excellent information. Go
that
ahead,
that is
Gordo.
really terrific, Stephen. Now, Stephen, you're testing via computer. What is the process, and how do the students get prepared to take the exam in their garage or their closet or whatever via computer, paperless?
Absolutely. You alluded to that official location where they take their test in the past. However, nowadays, that official location sometimes is the bathroom or the seat of their car sitting in their garage. They can literally test from anywhere. In fact, with Chu's participation in WM7X testing from Singapore, we've been able to test in entire classrooms of his students all at the same time. And I'll tell you, it's fascinating to use exam tools provided by Signal Stuff and watch 20 or 25, upwards of 30 examinations all occurring simultaneously, as we have a minimum of 3 VEs on the ground in Singapore. So, in answer to your question about where they're testing from and the procedures, we use a video conferencing platform, much like we're using for tonight's show. We use Zoom. Many people are familiar with Zoom from work or maybe their school and their education. We use Zoom. We have a host of volunteer examiners on the screen, all there to warmly welcome you to your exam, tell a few dad jokes while we're at it, and really reassure the applicant that we're rooting for their success. And we can't wait to welcome them to the hobby of amateur radio. Um, we really strive to make sure everyone's first impression of remote testing is incredibly favorable. You know that saying, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. Well, with remote learning, a lot of the applicants nowadays have studied on their own and they've registered for their exam session with WM7X. They present for an exam, and we're literally the very first human ham radio contact they've had. So whether they're successful in their exam or sometimes occasionally fall a little bit short, we have to make sure that this hobby survives, thrives, and prospers. So we anxiously welcome them back, if not later in the day, but maybe the next day to challenge a test again. Those first impressions we always strive to make sure are favorable. Shu
Wow.
has done an amazing job with that himself in Singapore.
Wow. And Stephen, when the applicant is taking the test on the screen, do they also see all of your VEs watching on intently?
If they want. If they want. Of course, we are watching the examination to ensure the exam is handled and conducted appropriately. However, sometimes certain applicants are a little bit nervous, and I remember my first exams, and I was a tad bit nervous. We also invite our applicants to minimize the video feed from the VE team, so they don't have to watch us watching them. And it's an incredibly relaxed environment, and success rates taking examinations remotely are vastly higher than in-person sessions. And we can attribute that to the fact that our applicants who all test remotely are incredibly comfortable in their own home, in their own bathroom, in the seat of their own car.
That's terrific. So, Stephen, what else happens during the exam process? The exams are generated, and they're corrected right after the applicant finishes the last of the questions?
Absolutely. Once an app screen that says great exam, our team takes over. And within seconds, because of the generosity of Signal stuff and exam tools, their exam is graded meticulously within seconds. And we all learn at the same time how our applicants succeeded.
Oh, that's terrific. And may we meet your other VEs in the screen that we see right now and get their impression of an applicant feeling much more at ease in front of their own computer?
We sure can. And after we talk to another couple of these team members, I'll share with you an experience from Malawi, Africa. So don't leave yet. There's something really exciting coming up for you. I'd like to introduce you to a good friend of mine, Justin, from North Carolina. He's one of our newer VEs, and he'd like to briefly share his experience with our team, the ARRL especially, and the fun use of exam tools.
Yeah, hello, my name is Justin. I'm from North Carolina. My call is KQ4DX. Been with Steven and his team since February. As Steven was saying there, I now have my own team called that DX Amateur Radio Exams. I work with Steven and really enjoy it. This is my way of giving back. And Richard created an amazing software there with exam tools and made all of this possible.
It's sure good to have Justin on the team as well. His success of his own team and his participation, his leadership here on our own test team as well is immeasurable. Justin, thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you for having us, Stephen.
Not only from our team, but from the entire community of amateurs that you've tested and you're about to test probably later on this evening too.
Yep.
Next on our screen is Mark from Eastern Washington State. Mark, share your experience briefly, if you would, in the fun of using exam tools with the ARRL.
Thank you, Stephen. It's been a pleasure to work with you and the rest of the team for about 5 years now. I'm one of the old guys on the team, and it's been just a real joy to test people all over the world. Some of the cooler places we've tested people, we've had applicants down in Antarctica at science stations down there, and just the other day we had a gentleman test from Fire Department of New York, a fireboat in New York Harbor. And it's just been really, really cool. the tools that we have to be able to do remote testing, Zoom and Ham Study and exam tools, just make it so easy to do a test. Be very confident that we're doing a good test, just as confident as we would be, if not more, than doing an in-person test. And Stephen and I have known each other for years, and we've done in-person testing together. And this way is by far the easiest and fastest way to get testing done, and we absolutely love it. And back to you, Stephen.
It's an awesome privilege, and I know you enjoy it as much as I do. Before we pick up Justin in Pennsylvania, I'll briefly, with everyone's permission, share my screen for just a moment. Another nation that we have been privileged to partner with our testing efforts is Malawi.
Oh,
Malawi,
wow.
Africa. Just here in the United States, but internationally as well. So keep your eyes peeled on Malawi call signs coming across the HF bands. The ARRL has been responsible for that, as has our team, and the efforts of Eli from Malawi, as well as Don. They're the two boots we have on the ground there that, because of a time difference, can't join us tonight, but they regret having not been able to participate this evening with us. Our final participant that we've been able to sample for tonight's leadership of our team is Justin in Pennsylvania, who I had the privilege of meeting at the Maine State Convention just about 6 weeks ago. Justin, can you share with us briefly your experience with the ARRL and the support that we get from them?
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for the opportunity of being here, and also to the Ham Nation for allowing us to be part of your show this evening. As Stephen mentioned, I was one of our on the ground VEs at the Maine State Convention a few weeks back, and using exam tools, and as Stephen has mentioned, with not only the virtual online testing, but also the hybrid sessions like we ran in Maine. And it's really fascinating where we can have VEs on the ground at a convention working with live person, giving in-person exams, which we do on tablets using exam tools as a platform. And then also have our online VE team there that we're able to have assistance from while we're live at a location. It was great. Some of our team members actually came here to Western Pennsylvania on the way back through for another VE session on their way back. So it's really, we become a great community, an international community, obviously, using the league as our support and exam tools as our platform. It's been really fascinating in the 2 years that I've been working with Stephen with the WM7X group.
Thank you, Justin, for that information. Gordon, I hope we were able to illustrate how passionate we are about our hobby, about how excited we are for amateur radio remote testing. Exam tools, we can't thank them enough. And signal stuff, don't forget about them when you pick up that new antenna for maybe it's that Baofeng that you picked up when you get your brand new license. I really enjoy my signal stick antenna. They're amazing tools. We like to mention them because it's actually an incredible product as well. So we have a tremendous support, Gordon, from not only the ARRL but exam tools.
That is terrific, Stephen. And finally, Stephen, where may our viewers tonight look to see all of the pre-study techniques that you use to make sure that they have their FRN if they're brand new to ham radio, and all of the correct identification and the look around the room that they will provide with their camera, so we ensure that the test is absolutely secure? Where do they go to look up those wonderful black and white pages you have?
Thank you for the question, Gordon. Great question as well. Our own website, although there's a lot of material out there on the internet, make sure you're gathering information that's most current, because standards and rules do change on occasion. However, we keep our website very up to date, and it's our own call sign, WM7X.net, Whiskey Mike 7 X-ray.net, where at the top of the page, there's a link for exam preparations. follow that, and 99% of your questions are going to be answered right there. Everything from getting your FRN to how to join a Zoom meeting and what to expect. And it's amazing. A great question
That is
again.
terrific. And I so much enjoy watching each of the VEs congratulating those mini hams that pass on the first try. Well, Stephen, and most important, your team members tonight and those way out there not necessarily showing up tonight, but probably doing some paperless exams. Thank you for helping our ham service grow. And I know the American Radio Relay League and Maria and her team so much appreciate all the effort that hams all over the country are helping the service become so easily accessible to take a test. So very 73, and I encourage all of you to go to WM7X. And Stephen, for a finale, would you close talk the microphone and in your best voice go, testing, testing, testing? You can.
In a group testing environment with multiple candidates, are results released in bulk or
Excellent question from the community. Individually, privately, with just that single applicant, and the minimum of 3 VEs that they have on the screen with them at the time.
There is one. Do they have lockdown browsers? So when they're taking a test, is there some? How do you control somebody on their tablet in their home, or what do you do?
Okay, although your audio was a little bit garbled there, Josh, I did understand your question.
Okay.
A locked down browser is not required. However, there are some additional security provisions that we employ to make sure that the folks entering the hobby are doing so by themselves and without any outside assistance. But as far as locked down browser specialty software that has to be installed, that's a big negative. You already have 50% of what you need, and that's your web browser, your computer with a web camera and audio, and then you might also install Zoom ahead of time from zoom.com, specific to your operating system. I hope that answered your question, Josh.
Yep. Good.
And I know it does. Well, Stephen and team, thank you so much. Amanda, let me turn it over to you now. Oh, wait a minute. No, Stephen, let me hear your best voice on testing.
Are you kidding? Okay, what have I got? Do you know how, Gordon, a cat likes its steak cooked?
A cat likes a steak cooked? No, how do they?
Very rare. That's all I got for you. That's all I've got.
There you go.
Thank you.
We just lost audio there for a second. Sorry. Can you hear me? Hold on a second. Hold on. Sorry about that. Can you repeat the punchline one more time? We lost audio for a minute.
Oh, man. For those who did hear it, I apologize.
But
they like their steak cooked very, very rare.
Ah, okay, good. Thank you for repeating that.
And my apologies.
Thanks, Stephen. 73 to WM7X team.
Thanks, everybody.
to Newsline and Dr. T.
From Amateur Radio Newsline Report number 2495, this is Ham Nation Headlines for Wednesday, August 27th, 2025. Our top story takes us to Texas, where the cellular service provider that's seeking use of ham frequencies to assist its future satellites has announced it's starting to plan its launches.
AST Space Mobile, which has asked the FCC for permission to use amateur radio frequencies for a planned constellation of satellites providing cellular-based broadband service, has announced it expects to have launched between 45 and 60 satellites by next year. In its second quarter earnings report this month, the Texas company said that it plans satellite deployments every 1 or 2 months into 2026 and expects to begin providing service in the United States by the end of this year. In the first quarter of next year, the company hopes to begin rolling out service as well in Canada, the UK, and Japan. In 2 separate deals pending, the company is planning to acquire use of portions of the S-band and L-band spectrum for global delivery of its services. AST Space Mobile, which is considered a rival to SpaceX, was recently approved to use the amateur radio band on an experimental basis for a low Earth orbit satellite, a prototype known as FM1. It was assigned the call sign WP2XRX, which is valid through the 1st of July 2027. The company plans to use the 70-centimeter amateur frequencies to conduct telemetry, tracking, and telecommand between ground stations and its satellites. This is Kent Peterson, KC0DGY.
A rare DX activation in the sub-Antarctic region is going to involve young amateurs in core roles.
The planned DXpedition for South Georgia Island in March of 2027 isn't just about activating one of the rarest and more challenging sites for portable amateur radio. A central focus for the team will be its role in mentoring the young radio amateurs who will be accompanying the more experienced operators to the sub-Antarctic island. The team, using the call sign VP0SG, is giving these youngsters top priority. Project team leader Rune, LA7THA, told Newsline in an email that 1 or 2 licensed young operators are expected to be a part of the operations on the island. He said, quote, "They'll be involved in every phase of the expedition, from setup and daily operations to teardown, working alongside veteran DXpeditioners in challenging real-world conditions," end quote. The DXpedition fulfills the mission of the Norway-based amateur radio DXpeditions, which devotes itself to giving hams around the world a chance to contact remote parts of the globe. This is Jason Daniels, VK2LAW.
With the Huntsville Ham Fest barely 1 week behind us, organizers of next year's Hamcation in Orlando, Florida, are asking attendees to think ahead about the event.
Nominations are now open for awards to be presented at Hamcation early next year, and one of the 3 honors will be making its debut, the Amateur Radio Hero of the Year. This honor was created to recognize the radio operator whose selfless and extraordinary actions provided exemplary public service in times of crisis, whether during a natural disaster or in some other critical or emergency scenario. Nominations are also being accepted on the Hamcation website for 2 other annual awards, Gordon West Ambassador of the Year and Carol Perry Educator of the Year. Think of the amateurs you know and admire anywhere in the world and what they have brought to the community. Then visit hamcation.com/award to get them in the running. Hamcation, which is taking place on the 13th through the 15th of February, is a convention for the ARRL's Southeastern Division. This is Jack Parker, W8ISH.
And that's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline, your independent source for amateur radio news since 1976 at arnewsline.org. With Kent Peterson, KC0DGY, Jason Daniels, VK2LAW, Jack Parker, W8ISH, Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team across the globe, I'm Don Wilbanks, AE5DW. 7-3, we'll see you next time here on Ham Nation. Now, here's the solar update from Dr. Tamitha Scove, WX6SWW.
We have some gorgeous eye candy, a far side blast, and big flares are back. Those stories and more are in the news this week. Space weather this week is giving sun lovers a treat. As we take a look at our Earth-facing disk, keep your eyes on the east limb because there's a ton of Earth-facing on activity going on there. First, watch in the south, you can see a filament launch right here, whoosh, and then another one here, whoosh. These are actually prominences, and they don't look all that exciting, except when we switch to Subi's view. Check this thing out. Look at this structure go. My goodness, we back it up a little bit. Isn't that a poster child of what solar storms should look like? This structure is incredibly dense, and later we'll talk about the filament that actually caused it, because we actually had a peak of it last rotation. But this structure It's so dense that as we take a look at it in C-core from GOES, you can see it's almost a partial halo here. I'll back it up just a little bit. Look how bright that is. You don't even need difference images. These are just the raw intensity images. And then that's not the only thing. We had a little eruption that went here, but that's not Earth directed either. So neither of those is. And then we had this structure lift off in another gorgeous display. And in the chronograph, you can see there's the first, there's the second, and there's the third one going off. Not quite as incredibly wide, but still a gorgeous structure and easy to see because it's incredibly dense. And why is that? Why are we seeing so much activity on the east limb? Well, the actuality is that the whole east limb is being involved here. There's a whole network of filaments. I'll show them to you. So here's that first one going off. Here's that second one going off. But check out what else is happening. Do you see this big long line right here? This is like a big burn scar right next to that coronal hole. You can watch it keep pulling out like that. Did you see that? Let me back it up a little bit. You can see how it retreats. Watch it play again. Here we go. Whoosh, do you see all that burning? If you didn't see it all that well, put it up in difference images so you can see it better. So here's the scar from the first one, from the southern one. You're seeing the second one kind of lifting off, but watch all the way in through here. It's incredibly strong. Look at all this. You can even see brightening in this area. So this was a massive burn scar, which tells us that there was a lot more involvement than just 1-2 eruptions going off. So what I've done here is, since we can't really look at the east limb, I'm going to rotate the sun to the east limb, but I'm going to have to patch things together from the last time we actually had a clear view of what was on the east limb before those big eruptions happened. So this right here, this is going to be the view from Earth. And this is a still image that you can see. There's that coronal hole that we can kind of see. But as I rotate to the east limb, what I'm looking at here, these are images from basically a month ago, the last time we saw this region. And as it rotates into view, I've kind of stapled them together. Look what we see. Look at this massive, incredibly dense filament. I'm actually glad this one didn't hit Earth, because having a filament that dense meant that this would have been a very big solar storm if it had hit Earth. In fact, as you continue looking, you can see this whole network of filaments. You can even see the one that's in the Earth view right now, and then it strains all the way to the back, clear over to here. So there's just this patchwork quilt of stuff, and it was definitely active. You can watch it launch right there. So even a month ago, we actually did have a lot of activity going on, and with that patchwork, that meant that we had all of this stuff. Once one bit of material lifted off, the whole network kind of lifted off. And so that's what we're seeing right now. On top of that, we do have some old regions, and we'll be talking more about those in a sec, because some of these regions may be responsible for the big blast that we saw. So now as we return to our Earth-facing disk, take a look at the fringe of the corona all up in here. You'll see it flicker in just a moment. It's not very strong, but you'll see it in this wavelength. Let's see, where is it? 1, 2, 3, come on, flicker. There we go. That flicker was a massive far side blast that we can't see right now. Sadly, Solar Orbiter, which is watching the far side, is not able to telemeter any data back to us right now. So we're having to wait because they're in superior conjunction right now, right behind the sun. We just can't get any data. We have to wait till like the 24th to get it. So hopefully we'll see some gorgeous eruptions there. As we take a look once again in C-core from Subi, you can look at, not that, that's Earthshine. Look at this massive halo right here. Full halo. Let me back it up just a little bit. Once again, an incredibly intense eruption, very dense material coming out because we're not looking at the difference images. So a lot of incredible eye candy that's been going on. And believe it or not, we're not done. We got one more. Check this out. That happened just earlier today. This is a structure that, hang on, where it's coming from this region back here that is just about to rotate into Earth view. Come on, where are you? Hurry up and fire. We just barely catch it. Boom, right there. This is actually a region that it gave us a M1. What was it, 1.7 class flare, 1.75, somewhere in there. So it was a radio blackout, low-level radio blackout in R1, but this region is occulted, so the actual flare intensity was much stronger than what we see, but it's being blocked by the limb of the sun here. So we are going to be seeing a bigger region rotate into Earth view, and once again, look how intense and very dense this structure is when we look in coronagraphs. Again, another poster child for solar storms. We're getting that beautiful cavity, 3-part structure we're looking down the barrel of the Slinky. The Slinky is going in like this. So it's just, we're seeing these gorgeous magnetic cloud type structures once again. And on top of that, we're also seeing some structure in the actual flare that we haven't seen in like 20 years. So here's a close up of the flare right here. Here goes the flare. Here's the post-eruptive arcades, which we're used to seeing. But look at all this stuff. Do you see these are actually downflows. We call these super arcade downflows. And again, this is kind of like a calling card of this particular solar cycle. We've been seeing a lot of these super arcade downflows and then we haven't seen these things in like 20 years. So this cycle continues to surprise us and enchant us and remind us of what solar cycles are really supposed to be like. But for those who are working amateur radio, you're going to have to deal with the big flares coming back. They're going to get stronger. We're going to see a lot more of them as we move into the rest of this week. So just hunker down and bear with us. And now taking a look at the far side of the sun, stereo A imagery is getting better and better because it's moving further and further to the west from Earth in its orbit. In fact, you can see here's Earth, here's the sun, and here's stereo A staring at the sun quite a bit from the side. And as we look at stereo A's imagery, look at all of these active regions that are on the sun's far side, still in stereo's view. 4169 and 4172, those are big flare players, and they're probably involved in some of that far side activity that we've seen. My auto labeler has gone kind of nuts, as you can tell. But as these regions continue to rotate to the far side, we're seeing a little bit of activity, but not too much. I think most of it is still hidden from view. Luckily, as we pull up our JSOC HMI helioseismology far-sided viewer, you can see let me just define it. You can see here in gold is the far side, here in gray is the front side. And as it goes through its whole litany here, remember region 4165 and 4168? These were the big flare players last time. Well, these are now on the far side. You can see where some of these big players or these big regions are. Here's region 4171 and 4172. These are the regions that have actually, that stereo just saw. So that's not where all the big activity is. The big activity, as you can see, is all in through here. So definitely region 4168 is still staying alive. We've got a new region near 4161, and then we've got these other regions that are just beginning to rotate into Earth view. That filament that we saw that launched to the south, that was located right about in this area here. So this is going to be, over the next week at least, is going to be massive stuff rotating into Earth view. Expect that solar flux to rise, expect those radio blackouts to pop up, and expect the noise on the dayside radio bands to be a bit of a mess. It's going to ramp up likely quite quickly once these regions rotate into Earth view at all. And then we're going to have the next 2 weeks to continue dealing with them. So yes, solar storms are on the menu. Big radio blackouts are on the menu, including R3 level radio blackouts. I will not exclude those because I do think this is that Rossby surge that we've been looking for. So you amateur radio operators and emergency responders, as well as you drone pilots and aviators, be aware that the big radio blackouts could be with us easily over the next 2 weeks or possibly more as they begin to ramp up here in the next few days. And now switching to our solar flare and dayside radio blackout outlook over the coming week, we are sitting in the mid 100s for solar flux, and this is going to rise over the course of the week. What also is going to rise is the noise level. We are sitting at minor noise right now on the dayside radio bands, but that is likely going to climb to moderate noise quite quickly over the next few days. I'm going to disagree with NOAA this time and give us about a 30% chance of M-class flares at the R1 to R2 level radio blackout and a 5% chance of X-class flares at the R3 level radio blackout, just because those regions that aren't on the disk yet are still quite active and could give us big solar flares. Expect those chances to continue to rise over the course of this week. We could see 15% chance of X-class flares by the end or by midweek next week. So amateur radio operators and emergency responders, expect to see the noise and everything kind of tank in terms of decent conditions, and expect those radio blackouts to come back. Now, switching to our radiation storm and polar aviation outlook over the coming week, we are sitting in the green for the moment. We're at the D1 normal range. This is at flight level 360 for you aviators, but we are dealing with elevated conditions right now. It's not enough to be a storm level, so we're still sitting at S0 levels, but we are going to be elevated with particulate radiation over the next few days before things calm down. Right now, I'm giving us about a 5% chance of a radiation storm at an S1 to S2 level, and going to have that over the next day or two. But then you're going to watch those risks rise quite quickly, and that's because those new regions are rotating into Earth view, and the further they get away from that east limb, the bigger chance they have of giving us stronger and stronger radiation storms. So you aviators, make sure you pay attention to your ICAO advisories, including you, the air crew, and you high-risk passengers, because we could easily see a radiation storm hit at any time. So the space weather this week is getting pretty exciting. We don't have any big storms to deal with, so aurora photographers, we've got just a little bit of fast solar wind. If you're at high latitudes, you might get a little bit of a show. It might be worth a look. Aurora photographers at mid latitudes, you might want to sit this one out, but you may not have to wait for long, because we do have some big active regions rotating into Earth view, and we keep getting these filaments firing over and over again. So solar storms may be on the menu. Now, amateur radio operators and emergency responders, well, things might be a little bit tougher from you. So you're noticing that we're getting a lot more noise on the dayside radio bands, and those big radio blackouts are coming back. So just kind of hunker down over the course of this week and possibly next week, and just kind of deal with things because it's going to take a little while for things to die down. And now you GPS users, well, we do have a mild radiation storm in the polar region, so that could cause some issues for your GPS reception. And of course, on the day side, we do have a lot of those radio blackouts that are going to be ramping up over the next few days and probably staying with us over the next week. So likely your GPS reception, especially in the polar regions and near dawn and dusk, is going to start getting a little bit dicey. So just hang in there and be sure to check and calibrate your magnetometer often. I'm Tamitha Skov, the Space Weather Woman. Thank you for watching.
Thank you, Dr. T. That was some amazing information. A lot of whooshes. Eye candy. This is a new one for us. Love it.
Yes.
And don't forget to follow Dr. T on X, Patreon, Blue Sky. She's everywhere. So thank you. All right, Josh.
Yes.
And the gang, are you ready for Hamlet or Can It?
I'm always ready. I'm always
Okay.
ready. And we got a bit of a crew here, so that could be kind of fun
This'll
as
be
well.
fun.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's go over it. All right.
I am going to
Everyone.
let you cue it up, and here we go.
Okay. So my first one for this week is really, it's not that significant. Like, into MAK, by the way, he's fun to follow on X, but he was just talking about a mistake he had made, and he showed this picture. So I just happened to be browsing at it, and I'm confused. Like, okay, you see where my hand is? The hand. See, there's like a connector there.
Yes.
And you follow this line, and it goes nowhere. Where did it go? What is it connected to?
It's connected to the front of the antenna. So that's an ELK antenna. It's a log periodic.
Okay. I just was so confused about where it's hooked to the antenna, fine, but where is it connected to the radio?
It's a BNC cable.
Okay,
Coax.
I just couldn't see it. So
it's literally the sticky. It's like the antenna, but I think they're holding it in their hand. The coax.
Okay.
I think.
Anyhow, maybe.
Yes.
Moving on.
Okay.
So, all right, this this just led to conversation.
Oh.
He said he was struggling with QRM on his end fed, and now he's listening on a small loop to receive antennas. How many of you do this? Do any of you use two different antennas, one to receive and one to transmit on? I find it to be a pain in the rear.
I do. It depends on if there's diversity for the antenna. So if your radio can take two inputs and phase them, that can help. Like if you use a loop on the ground or something along those lines. But honestly, you gotta go fight that QRM, everybody. You just gotta go get that RFI.
I see. Deal with the QRM, because if I had a nickel for every time I accidentally transmitted on the antenna that I was just supposed to be listening on, I'd be rich. So, okay. What is the deal with people being irritated by saying Roger on the air all of a sudden? Is this a movement? This is like the third time.
I don't get it.
I don't understand, Josh. Roger is seriously okay. And the other, I mean, there's not much better, and it's already been an accepted practice to say Roger, Roger. So, chat room, if you have something that we should be using instead, don't just say don't use Roger anymore. We have to have something that confirms. I mean, there's obviously QSL, say QSL, QSL, QSL. I mean, I don't think everyone follows using affirmative, and that's more for like public safety and public service. Roger that.
I mean, we say
I
Roger
just
that. I say that like that, and that's
Roger.
somehow
I just see
okay.
Roger.
Or
I don't.
Roger. Yeah.
Just stop being mad about it, you guys. Get over it. It's going to be used. Let's see. What is this? Okay. This is just this was funny because this person puts out this call for help. Your skills are mission critical. Help decode, track, and visualize, blah, blah, blah. And then didn't give us a link to go anywhere so we could sign up to help.
It
So
also looks like an AI avatar or something. It doesn't even look like a real human being.
it's in,
I don't know
I
what's
don't
going on
even
there.
know. I have no idea. And they've posted a lot about this stuff, but
Mhm.
I'm like, don't call for help and then not give us any information or links of somewhere to go to find out how we could actually help. So don't be dumb. Okay. This is for you, Josh. I found
Okay.
this. This was hilarious. This guy is like, I'm just gonna start a YouTube channel called I Have No Idea and I Like to Play with Radios. But I think that you're spot on. Yes, have a video for 30 minutes on YouTube showing you just pushing buttons and showing like, oh, I didn't know that menu existed. Oh, I didn't know that menu existed. But you're gonna run out of radios really, really soon. So
Oh, I don't know. Can you imagine just all the radios out there, Amanda? I do have
I
a
don't know.
comment on that really fast, if I may.
Yeah.
So, I've gotten a lot of comments on people saying, "Boy, Josh, I'm really glad you post your videos fumbling your way through doing Morse code contacts and just showing it raw." And it's encouraged people to then go try Morse code because we all know it's difficult. But I guess showing the failure, the dirty side of it, and being okay with failing, it's like it encourages people to go do that. And so surprisingly, I think this guy's onto something. And I think I replied to that tweet saying, "You'd be surprised. Like that's literally a big aspect of what we do is banging our head against the wall until we can get the thing to work, hopefully show you in a way that is easy to follow. But a lot of time is spent just trying to figure things out. I'm Amanda, you and Jeff do that all the time, right?
Do.
Mhm.
And if I had one comment about any YouTube video that I watch for instruction, and I'm gonna say this for like canning, preserving, prepping for your years long worth of food, everything. I need to see you screw up to
Yeah.
make me feel better.
Yeah.
And I need to hear those F-bombs when you screw up and you drop your spoon that, was sanitized and now you're screwed up. Same thing with amateur radio. When you lay out your line and then so it's on the ground and then your dog walks over it and picks up all the line and tangles up your wire that you just
Yep.
had laid out.
Yep.
I 100% need to see that to make myself feel better and just to know that nobody's perfect. Yeah. It's because it happens all the time. I went to do a video of putting a G5 RV, like fishing with a fishing pole and like doing this. And I was like, I'm going to show everyone how hard this is. And like, it's not easy. I swear to God, that video, I did it the first shot, got the ball
Ah!
up in the tree
Oh, wow.
and like a perfect shot. So I was like, well, there you go. Maybe people are just that good sometimes and they luck out. So, anyhow, what was this? This is for a much, much longer discussion about Aries and an Aries response. But this person wanted everyone to be amateur radio aware because of a cell phone disruption that lasted 4 hours.
Mhm.
Here's my deal. Aries is not a response for a cell phone outage for 4 hours. It's going to take a lot longer before public safety decides that amateur radio would need to be involved in helping with an outage. And until they knew how long that outage was going to be, or until it lasts, but thank you, Delta, for your input.
Delta agrees.
Until they,
Delta agrees. Yep.
yeah, until it takes at least 12 hours, Aries and amateur radio would not get involved at all.
No,
I'm just
no.
saying, but just want to put that out there. Like you can't look back at a 4-hour outage and be mad at your emergency. It's 4 hours. Please learn to live without your phone for 4 hours. Yes, it's irritating, but it's just one of those things. We're not that ready. There's nothing we could do in 4 hours to help with this situation. So okay, that's
Yep.
all I wanted to say about it. This was really cool, but again, they didn't put a link to where I could go find their little kicker thing. Anyhow, cool little tool. I'm
Yeah.
sure Josh, you use it all the time,
I
right?
have one
So,
of those, but I don't have the cool kickstand. So yes, I'm
everyone,
interested.
when you're showing off cool products, share the link, man.
You
Don't
got
be
to.
stingy.
You got to.
You have to.
Or the 3D print,
Okay.
right?
Yes.
I saw
Somebody
this.
sent this to me, and so of course I had to be cheesy and share this. I have zero amount of care about Taylor Swift or Travis Kelce getting married or not getting married or being a couple or not being a couple, but I thought it was very, very, very funny. So
I wish them the best,
there
but
you go.
I don't know who they
Me
are.
too. Oh, and this is just to remind everybody that 20 years ago was Hurricane Katrina, and I wasn't going to show this photo if Don was going to be here because sometimes he likes to talk about it and sometimes he does not like to discuss it, which is 100% understandable since Don and his family, Tyler was just a toddler,
Wow.
got displaced and had to live out of a hotel for, I think, months. And until they got some FEMA money, and then family took them in, and then they decided that they were never, ever, ever going to make it back to New Orleans to reestablish their home. And they lost everything. They lost everything: cars, house, photos, everything. So I'm just still thinking about that and what a disaster it was. And every hurricane after hasn't been so great either. So thinking of everybody, and it's been a kind of a nice, smooth hurricane season. So
We love you,
not
Don.
too bad.
We love you, Don.
Yes, we love you, Don. Sorry he couldn't stick around. He had technical difficulties tonight. So anyhow, that's what I got. So let's go over some nets. Kev, I think this is going to be his last week, I believe, on 7192
Thanks,
or
Kev.
thereabouts. And we are accepting prospective NCSs. If anybody would like to take that over, reach out to me and Kevin. We'd be happy to discuss. And don't forget, 14 Charlie D-Star is happening right now. Thank you, Paul, for always taking that every other week. We appreciate you very much. Other than that, Colorado QSO party is this weekend, and the Kansas people in the chat room would be really pissed if I didn't say that there's also the Kansas QSO party this weekend. So be sure to get on the air. This is a huge holiday weekend. Podas are going to be everywhere. Bands are going to be crowded. Josh, you doing anything special for the weekend?
I have a Friday off, so I will definitely be doing a POTA. I actually have a bunch of stuff to take in the field and do a test of, so look forward to that. I'm really excited to be able to talk about this stuff in a greater detail, so very excited about that. But yeah, I think I've got something special. It's either going to be satellite radio this weekend, or we're going to do one of two other things, so stay tuned this Saturday.
Stay tuned. Follow Josh on his socials to find out what he's doing. And I had one other thing, but now I've completely forgot. Anyhow, happy Labor Day, everybody. If you get the day off, if you get the long weekend, enjoy it. And yeah, I'll be doing POTA as well. And I discovered that people like there's a nighttime, like night owl award for activating it. And we're in a park the whole time. So I guess we'll activate as POTA more while we're out camping.
It gives people something to do at home because POTA is usually like a daytime thing.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of activators at night. So when you can activate at night after the UTC, dateline shift, that's perfect. There's a lot of people out there looking for you. And Colorado's perfectly located for 40 meters for POTA.
Absolutely.
So you're going to have a fantastic time. It'll be great.
Well, stay tuned, everybody. You'll see my pictures online. So, all right, everyone, join us again. September 10th is our next show, and
Yes,
I'll
indeed.
say 73.
73, everybody. Thank you all the guests, and we'll see you next week.